Right, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
I
indeed.
can hear
All
you.
right, you can hear me just fine. All
Mm-hmm.
righty, go live. That's
Going
what we're
live.
gonna do. We are going live.
Ooh,
Woohoo!
look at RJ. He's just like a little pro. He didn't have no just it. Mm,
Welcome
he-
to the Aisha I Am Woman show. I am your host, Aisha, and I am so excited to be joining you today. This is the Aisha I Am Woman show where needed conversations happen, and we're going to be having a needed conversation then tonight. I have some very, 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 very special guests with me, and let me tell you something. This is going to be a conversation for the records. For the records, because we're talking about fathers. And because Father does know best. When we talk about fathers, he does know best. Oftentimes, he knows much better than we know as young women, young men, if we just glean from their wisdom. And so, to be a father is a big deal. And you have a lot of daddies, you have a lot of fathers. And although we know that every man, every father is not perfect, but we know that they were blessed enough to bring life into this world. And so we want to be grateful for them today here on this Father's Day. So we're going to be kicking off in just a second as I talk with my very, very special guests. I'm going to be introducing them in just a moment as we get ready to start. But I want everybody to call somebody. Tell somebody to come on. Tell them to come on and join us on the Aisha I Am Woman show as we get ready. This is the place where needed conversations happen. Needed conversations, and this is a conversation that needs to happen. Father knows best. We'll be right back.
Can you see?
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the Aisha I Am Woman show where needed conversations happen. I am your host, Aisha, and I am delighted. I am so honored. I am so excited that you would choose to join me this evening on this Father's Day. This is a very, very, very special day for many fathers. You know, I had the opportunity to go out this evening, and it was a blessing to me to be able to see so many fathers being celebrated today. Let me tell you something. That has been a different vibe than we've seen in years past. But today I saw a lot of fathers being celebrated, and I'm grateful for that. Now, what I saw children doing, wives doing, young people doing, is bringing in their fathers, great dads. And I am so overjoyed to have two very, very, very special guests with me tonight. And those are none other than my very, very, very own, very special young man. Very special young man. I was blessed to be able to bring him in the world.
Yes, yes.
This is my boy, RJ Miller. Let me tell you something. Let me tell
Smart,
you.
handsome.
Yes, he is an amazing young man. And so I am honored to have him join his mommy here tonight as we talk about Father Knows Best, right? He has so much stuff to say about how I'm going to let him talk about himself. And I also have my sister, my dear, 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 dear sister. And I would say that she's my god sister, but she's really not even my god sister. She's above that because my mom, Mama T, I don't have enough words in my vocabulary to describe that lady, and this is Mom's daughter, and she's my sister, Miss Shay McCrary, who's here to join me. And I'm going to allow them to introduce themselves and tell you guys more about them. So, RJ, tell us about yourself. Tell us about yourself, RJ.
Okay, dope. Well, hello everyone. My name is RJ. Full name is Ricardo Miller Jr. That's where the RJ comes from, Ricardo Jr. I'm a work study student over at Tarrant County College, majors communications. That right there is my little brief professional rundown. But to get to know a little more about me personally, I'm someone who likes to try everything new and likes to go out and give new experiences. Obviously, as you can tell, a communications major and being on my mom's radio show, I'm a bit of a talker. So I do enjoy, talking and having conversations with all different types of people from all different types of background and race and everything like that. But also I like to, go out and try a whole bunch of different new things. I mean, first big new thing I ever tried was snowboarding, which, thank the Lord I did try it, even though I was very, very hesitant. Thank you to my mom for forcibly making me go on that trip. But it was overall an amazing time. First time I ever really dived off into the deep end to go and try something different. Ever since then, I've been hooked on going out and just living life and trying new experiences. Life has so much amazing stuff to offer, and whether it's experiences or whether it's seeing something visually captivating and beautiful or just hearing about people's different life stories, life has so much to offer. So I'm a bit of an experience junkie. That's a little brief rundown about me.
All right, that's my boy, man. We may kick him out the nest, but let me tell you something. He gets out there and he flies. Do you hear me?
He flies.
Flies, and we are honored to be able to have the privilege to parent this young man. So that's our RJ Miller, and I want to introduce you to my sister, Miss Shay McCrary. Let me tell you something. This lady is amazing, and I just want her to tell you a little bit more about her.
Well, like Aisha said, I'm her sister. My name is Sharon McCrary. I have 3 wonderful children that I was able to raise, 2 sons and 1 girl. And they are gifts, real gifts. I'm a life coach. So I do a lot of talking to people one-on-one. And what else would you like to know about me?
Well, you've shared a lot. We know you more. Yes.
Well, that's
I know.
I
I know
am
you
woman.
from. Yeah, I am woman. You are a woman, and such a creative voice, such a creative
Oh,
person, and just a woman of just so many talents and. Just so many things that she's raised, not just beautiful children, but beautiful grandchildren. Let me tell you
yeah.
something.
Got
I'm
great
so impressed by your children, your grandchildren. I'm just like, oh my God, you're doing the thing, man. You're doing the thing.
working with it. You
Yes,
working with it.
yes, yes. And I believe, truly believe that children are a reflection of their parents. That is all the time. We don't want to believe that, but what we pour into them, we get out. And that's the
That's right.
absolute truth. I mean, it's a
True.
lot of sacrifices we have to make. I remember once I talked to RJ and I said, RJ, I want you to come on the show and tell me about, we were talking about just, what your experience was as our child, And my child said, Mama, I'm going to come on the show, but I don't know if you're going to want to hear what I got to say.
Ah, ah.
So what am I
Yeah,
going to
you
do?
want to hear. You want to hear it.
Exactly. I want to
You
hear
want
the
to hear it.
truth, the whole truth,
Absolutely.
nothing but the truth.
Nothing
So,
but the truth. There you
yeah,
go.
yeah. So it is what it is. And I have
Yeah.
to accept that. And a growing child needs a growing parent. That is something that I've learned through a very wise man who once said that in his parenting courses. A growing child needs a growing parent. So I'm going to talk to everybody. We're going to just chit chat tonight, and kind of go from there. We're going to talk about what fathers know. Fathers know best. Fathers know best, and I'm excited about this conversation we're going to have tonight. So, who would like to dive in and start first? I would go with RJ. I really want this to be a conversation where we just converse with one another and share what really is the importance of fatherhood and, the importance of what your experience is from a child's perspective. We have RJ, who's 20 years old, and I have my sister, who I will let her share how seasoned she is with the audience. That's her choice. And so, I would promise you, audience, she looks nothing like her seasoning. So I'm just going to tell what they say.
Honey.
We don't crack. You heard me? So,
Thank you, Jesus.
amen. Praise him today. So we're gonna start. Let's go ahead and let's just start with our young voice. And RJ, one of our
Yeah.
first things we want to talk about what age did you begin to see what a father's role is, and how important is that role? At what ages was that?
I'll probably say, I don't know how old you are. At that age and point in time, however, I'd say probably like sixth grade, maybe seventh grade. Around middle school time, which I think middle school you're probably like 11, 12 maybe or so. I would say that was really the time that like fatherhood really started to dawn on me, the importance of it. Was me and my father's relationship. It was something that let's say it was an investment. It was something that grew over time. It was started as it really was a mustard seed kind of thing.
Wow.
It didn't start off in the greatest place, but it's grown to become something absolutely amazing, absolutely beautiful. Love my dad. But in the very beginning instances of it, I mean, the person who really stood in the place of my of a compassionate and hold your hand, walk by your side kind of father figure was my Uncle Ken. But in seeing what directly a father in the place of a father and the title of a father look like would be my close friends. Like I'm an only child, as most people know, but I adopted people into my own family. I call my brothers, and the first two were my friend Jason, who I met in the fourth grade, and my friend Jordan, who I met in the sixth grade. And the first one of the first major instances, I've told them a few times. I don't think they really recognize the significance of it, and one day I need to tell his father about it. But the first instance in where I saw the importance of a father was actually from my brother Jordan, and a time where I was actually going over to his house, spending the night. And Jordan? So I went to a private school where the denomination, it was a Christian private school denomination. There were Seventh-day Adventists, and it's actually quite different Christian-wise than what a non-denominational or a Baptist or a Pentecostal churches you normally like. They celebrate on the Sabbath. on the Saturday. And on the Sabbath, you don't do nothing. Was it? You ain't playing no video games. You ain't drinking no, like it is. You are fully on God's time in that day. So I remember it was a Friday, and like keep in mind, this is just me as a kid going into one of my new close friends' houses. I was going in there chilling, and it was a Friday evening. Spent some time over at my friend Jordan's house, and his dad told everybody to come over into the main living room, included me. He called everybody all into the living room, and he said, "All right, guys, we're gonna be having our weekly breakdown of one thing that we're all thankful and one thing that we feel that God has blessed us for this week." And as I saw him go through the house, he just said one thing: everybody come into the living room. We're going to be doing our weekly devotion to just give thanks to God for our week. I just saw this figure to me in my head. I was just like, man, as like a father, I just saw him spiritually bring everybody together, and that was just like an eye opener to me. I was just like, whoa, that's crazy. And then not only that, but I mean, I'm not even his kid. Now, now we all call each other like family, Jordan's biological mom she calls me her kid. So we're all considered family now. But first year, just getting to know these guys, they had no real true investment to care about me that deeply. Mm-hmm. But they brought me into their family circle, and then everybody said the thing about that they were blessed about, they got to go a little bit more in depth about it, and Jordan's dad is one who led that whole thing out. And then when we got to me, he asked me as well, and then he treated me just as he treated his kids. Mm-hmm. And for me, that was just eye opening to me, not only how a father can provide discipline, as my father usually did. In my younger years, my father taught me discipline, he taught me life lessons, but he can also provide you spiritual structure. And that was something that was very eye-opening to me at that time. So I'd probably say around that 6th grade, 7th grade. I don't know exactly what age that is. Maybe from the age of 10 to 12 or 13 is when I really had that epiphany to understand how deep and how important fatherhood can really be, and how holistic a father can really be.
Wow. Wow. I'm grateful. As young, not just young, what we're very intentional about is because you were an only child, is surround you by brothers. And we knew that those brothers and their fathers would definitely have an impact in your life. And so that is critically important that you have that. And I'm grateful that you even made yourself available, to them and to their wisdom and what they had to offer you. Because you know what the truth is, all parents don't know everything, And so it takes a village indeed. And so we were able to pull on some great people in our lives and bring them in and say, hey, you know what? We don't have it all together. We really don't. And so can y'all step in when we fall short? Miss Candace, I call her other mommy for you, RJ. So, Miss Shay,
yes,
tell us about what age did you see your father's impact? You shared so many things with me as far as that goes. And,
what I had an awesome
age?
Dad.
Mm-hmm.
I had a truly awesome father, and it was weird this morning when I got up. I'm like, wow, Dad, you're not here. That freaking sucks. Wow. It really does. Unexpected, just out like that. Mm-hmm. You're blessed to have your dad, baby. You really are. But I think that when I had to be about 5 years old. Mm. And my dad was so tall and he was so big. I was so proud that this great, big, old, fine man was my dad. And so I had to say about 5 years old, I remember some kids in the neighborhood, and my dad, they were acting up. And my dad stood on the porch with his hand in his pocket, and he said, "You sure you want to act like that, young man?" So the guys kind of straightened them little selves up, and I saw my dad. I was like, my dad is Superman.
Wow.
Made those guys act right.
Wow.
And he didn't even know them.
Wow.
So that's the first. I just thought he was huge. He was a big man with a big voice, but a gentle, kind heart.
Wow.
And I had a great dad.
Yes, you definitely. a man of such wisdom and such stature, and it wasn't. He was a man of few words, but when he spoke, it was like,
Ooh.
okay, Dad,
Yes, you
you know
needed
what
to
I'm.
listen.
Ugh, you better
Yeah, you
listen.
need to listen.
He could put the fear
And
of God in your heart. You heard me.
oh my goodness, and how did he do that? He never whipped me or he didn't, he didn't talk crazy to us,
Hmm.
his daughters. I mean, he treated us like we were little princesses.
Wow, wow, wow.
No, yeah.
That
He
is
was
absolutely beautiful to have had that experience, to have had, just a daddy in your life. Of course, we're going to talk even more about it, how father knows best, and a dad speaks, and when they a true father, when they speak, they don't have to say a lot. Like my Uncle Richard, man, let me tell you something. I he I mean, I just like I have two uncles who raised me. My Uncle Richard, my Uncle Ken. Uncle Ken is the soft. He's the gentle giant with a heart, man. Let me tell you something. When I tell you, my Uncle Ken, when I call him, oh my God, I get speechless. I almost get teary eyed when I start to talk about my Uncle Ken, because it's not a moment in my life when I can say, Uncle Ken, I need you, where he does not come up with a solution.
mm,
And it goes on to my son, and all of us, he treats us like his daughters. And although he's my uncle, and when my Uncle Richard speaks, he don't raise his voice often, but let me tell you something. If the man raises his voice,
mm.
all the house better line up right now.
Everybody.
Everybody get in line. And my daddy had a heart of gold. He was just a most kind man to us. He did what he could do, despite what we all went through in our tragic upbringing. So my dad, despite what he had to face, was an amazing man,
Wow.
and I honor him as my daddy. So let me tell you. So we're going to say, what do you think from you guys, both of you guys? We're going to present you both this question. From your experience, what do you think was their driving factor to just sticking around? Your dads. What made them want to stay? Because every daddy doesn't.
No, they don't. They will walk off.
But
They will walk. You're right about that.
yes. So tell me, Shay. Let's start with you. What do you think Dad's driving factor was to just stick around?
Commitment to his family.
Mm-hmm.
First to my mom, who was his wife.
Beautiful.
They were married over 50 some years, 54 years.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I think that my dad was determined to do better than his father did, and
Mm-hmm.
so he was motivated, I think, by the family, by having children, the first the three, Dion, me, and Ed, and then later on, Bridget and Daryl.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he was always creating or doing something
Yes.
at the home. We never had men to come into the house and even fix things, Aisha. My dad could fix any and everything.
Yes. Yes.
When we got dating age, my dad taught my then boyfriend how to change a tire on a car and how to change the oil on a car, because he's like, you're going to have my daughter in your car. You need to know how to do these things.
Wow. Wow.
So he was dad to a whole lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He really was. I have a lot of stories about my father and different things that he taught. I missed him dearly.
Wow.
I mean, I don't think I miss him. It's just, but then there's a part of me that all the stuff that he taught us,
Mm-hmm.
it's almost like the only thing I miss is that physical where I could hug him, because he left such an imprint in my life, on all of our lives, on our friends' lives. Like RJ was saying, where he would go and he was family with his other friends. That's how my dad was. He took every kid in. He didn't care. He did. He was amazing.
Yeah. I remember him taking RJ's dad fishing. Him and Corey went fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And RJ's dad, Ricardo wasn't used to that kind of fishing, but Dad would stay out all night.
Yep.
He would fish and fish and fish and fish and fish. But so he taught my ex RJ's dad tenacity on that boat. Do you hear me? So I'm just grateful for even the experience, the time that I have with him, and I know you have numerous stories that I can't even compare to even understand or comprehend. You know, the beauty of what it was to have him, you know, as you did. And so
Yeah, my
I'm
mom was
looking forward
blessed to have him, and we were too.
Yes.
Because he was definitely the priest. He was our protector, the priest, and the provider. You
Yes.
know, he made sure we did not do without.
Yes.
And I think that that's very important that fathers have, you know, being in the kid's life or even adults,
Yes.
you know, where they can always speak into your life and help you understand something that you might not feel good about. They can make you feel good about it, you know.
Yes.
My dad was amazing.
Indeed. Indeed.
I mean, I want to tell you some more stories, but I'm gonna let RG say some stuff too, and then we'll get.
Okay, go for it, RJ. What do you think the driving factor was for, you know, Daddy just sticking around, your dad just sticking around? That, you know, some men could just say holla at you, and you know, especially all the things that they went through. Yes, you know.
I think that so in hearing throughout the story and something that I found as a highlighting factor, at least that I found, right, and men, whenever they're men who have like good base character, was no matter what, that good base character is always going to shine through at the end. Like, it doesn't matter like how much trauma, anything, whatever goes down, was at the end of the day, that character will pull them through that trial and tribulation. And so I believe that was a cause and effect of what happened for my father. I mean, like, as I know, like, I don't know very much about my dad's side of the family, especially when it comes father wise, because he never had a dad either. I just remember that like one of his like largest standing things that he was training me up to know whenever I was younger was that, you know, he's just trying his best because he didn't have a father. Wow. And that he's going to do everything better than what in the absence of what his father did. So like I believe that not only that, and you know, wanting to be better than the father that was absent for him, but also I believe that in the mantra that he continues to say and getting better with age, that he was determined to just stay true to the path. Mm-hmm. And regardless of where the path took him, wherever God would take him, the detrimental parts that it may have had in our relationship and our connection, that he stayed consistent to know, just like, you know, this is my life that I put into the world, and he's going to be here for the rest of my life, and he's going to be here beyond my life. So the best that I can do is give him the best that I can while I'm still here.
Yes.
And to like close off on that point, to make it a little short and brief, is that one thing that he's very, very adamant in is that he wants to know that he's given me these lessons to at least he wants to at least know that he's given me the tools and the lessons to be able to properly function on throughout in life. And knowing that he is someone who's always wanted to strive and continue to get better with age and exceed and excel. These lessons, I mean, don't get me wrong, they're timeless, because a lot of it was the major reason why I started keying in so heavily on what he's saying and started hanging on to every word that he starts to say, is because I realized stuff he was telling me whenever I was 8 was stuff I should have been doing whenever I'm 19. Like it's stuff that was like, man, if I've been making my bed, I would have, like, what was it? Like, making your bed is such a small thing, but it starts your day off so right. And that's a whole epiphany I had at 19 by myself, mid-COVID, lost my whole graduation. Everything's just going haywire, and I was just like, I start making my bed, and for some odd reason, my day just starts going better from then on. Apparently, he knew what he was talking about. Wow. So, like, what was it? So, taking that whole similar premise of those little small lessons, he's someone who's not committed to only giving me those lessons, but committed to learning new lessons and teaching me in those as well. Mm-hmm. I believe that that's another reason why, that he gave me the lessons that he had at the time, but as he's grown and as he's matured, it's kept him here to say there's more lessons to be taught. Mm-hmm. And as my mom said earlier, a growing child needs a growing parent. And as the parent grows and as the child grows, they see the mutual need there for the mutual need for their presence to be there. But yeah, it was. I believe that's the reason that my father stayed so present.
Yes, yes, because some, like I said, some do walk off, and it's just a regretful thing that to have them walk off from the children because that's who it affects most.
Yes.
But as we know that, as we know that there are times that it is sometimes needed to part ways from not the. I don't think, in my opinion, I never believe that a man walks away from his children. He walks most times away from the relationship with the mother. And so, and sometimes mothers can try to hold the man bound by that. But, sometimes, but a great father is still a great father all day long. So we are grateful for the good fathers we have in the world, in the world, in the world, in the world. I have no judgment for anybody in anything when a daddy walks off, because you know what? Thank God for a good therapist. That's all I can say. A good therapist can help you correct your mind, and a good spiritual mother to tell you, look, dog, you know what? You full of mess. Get it together. Let me tell you something. Many a day I heard that story. So, what I do know is that truth, and I'm grateful to have learned that. But tell me, the impact, we've heard about the impact on your life personally. Now, RJ, thank God to you, and I'm grateful. I want some grandkids one day, but just not this day. No, I want any grandkids this day. So we're going to let Auntie Shay tell us about, how do you think, I know that Dad's impact has been great and amazing in Donovan, Sarah, and Darius's life, but how has he affected Trinity, Serenity, that's the Trinity and Serenity I know, and then your baby down in Miami, all of your grandkids, how has his impact in
it's unfortunate that they did not get to experience him. But they hear of him. Yeah. They see pictures of him.
Yeah.
They know that he did exist here on this plane.
Yes.
And some of the things that I think that I teach my grandchildren, and that I've even taught my children or reiterated with the children, is the things that he's taught us: how to clean a house, how to take care of your body.
Yeah.
My dad, we were on such a great foundation coming up with my mom and my dad that we didn't realize it until later on what we had. My dad saw to it that we took a vacation every year away from California. I mean, we would drive cross country to see my aunt in Chicago, my grandparents in Louisiana, and my dad would take those opportunities on those long trips to talk to us. Yeah. And it was so funny because he talked to you and he's always hitting you like, you want to say, will you stop hitting me? No, this son, that was his little habit. And so and so, so and so. And blah, 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 blah. And we'd be like, okay, we're going to be here for another 30 minutes to get it all in. But it's amazing how amazing he was, because my dad's father was not present. He was there, but he wasn't present there. So he didn't come up with the dad showing him how to fix a car, or do some plumbing, or what all the things that men do around the house, and how my dad was so responsible when his dad wasn't. And he put that in us: if you start it, you better finish it.
Wow.
I mean, I don't have enough words to really give my dad the accolades that he deserves. When they say your children will rise up and call you blessed, I take that for him. I know how to judge how I want to be in a relationship based on what I saw my dad do, and even more so now.
Yeah.
I'm less tolerant of crap, of if he ain't coming correct, this is not the place to come, because I take the things that he taught me about my body and who I am and all those things that only I feel a father can really put in you, or mold that part of your life when you're coming up as a young lady. It's so important that you know that you're validated, and my dad validated his daughters.
Yes.
I don't think he's never called us out of our names. Never.
Yes.
He never talked down to us. It was always like that level thing. You can go to him with anything, and he didn't put you down. I'd rather go to him than mom. His mom would be, and dad always stayed just as cool. And he'd go, Sylvia, calm down. And tell her, calm down. We'd be another, you calm down.
Yeah.
Doing too much, mama. No, we didn't do that. But my dad walked softly and carried a big stick.
Yeah.
You knew not to. No, he wasn't a cussing man. I think when we were younger, I remember my daddy smoked and he drank. And one day my dad said, okay, that's it. I think I was maybe 9 years old. No more cigarettes, no more alcohol. Like that, he stopped. Never happened again.
Wow.
Yeah, so he had, my dad had some pride about himself. He was a king. He was a king, and he took care of his family. I remember my dad we would get new shoes and new things, and I'd be like, why didn't Dad buy anything new? I went in my dad's closet. He had a hole under the bottom of his shoe.
Wow.
Hurt me to my heart.
Wow.
But we had new shoes on. You know, I remember when I turned 18, they had this store called Eagleson's. It was for tall men. And so that was my first account that I ever had. Eagleson's, the first account, it was for men. And I got my dad, I would buy him shoes and clothes and all the time, you know, because he didn't do that for himself.
Yeah.
He was just about the family, us doing well, looking good. You know, he wanted us to have that class, and we had that. Yeah. I mean, he taught us that. And you can't help but be elegant or whatever when you come up in the house with a regal mother and a king for a dad. I mean, what do you do? So, and what RJ was saying about making the bed, that's what we had to do. You got out of it, you turned around, you made your bed, then you started. You know, go brush your teeth and do whatever else, you shower, whatever. But we had to make that bed, you know, so there was order and structure in our home. Totally. And my mom carried out anything my dad would say. You know, we would think she was the bad guy, but it was really him. It was him.
Behind the scenes. So that leads into our next question. Dads give identity, right? And me and you, we spoke earlier about identity and how that is developed in a young lady and a young man. They give that to us, who we are identified, even our gifts and our talents and stuff. You know, they can come from mom and stuff, but when you have a true dad in your life, they help to develop your identity, your talent, and they pull it out of you. I speak for my boy here. He got his daddy's gift, Lord Jesus. Praise him. It's going to make us a whole bunch of money one day, you know.
Oh, yes,
my boy has the gift of his father. He
make the money and don't get married for a long time. Help your mama.
So I want both of you guys to tell me, how have you developed your identity through your dad? RJ, tell me about that. What was one of the driving factors again in developing your identity? How did you take that away?
It's actually kind of crazy looking at it. It's a great question because it's one I've never really thought too much in depth on, but it's something that like really impacts like every facet of my life. Like thinking back out to it, like I'm talking about from genetics just to how I talk, to how I present myself, to like literal physical genetics. Like, what was it? Each part of it, it's been a major impact and major influence from my dad. I'll just start off going from the top, like from like the way that like I carry myself and the way that I walk. I remember there was a day, was it after me and Jordan became actually like really good friends, because at first it was a bit like, it's my brother. Who was it? It's odd enough, like he's my brother now, but I remember he literally hated me when he first saw me, because he was just like, oh, this pretty little light skinned guy, you know, it's just like, he's so loud, he talks to everybody, I don't like it. And was it years later now, like it was his mom calls me his mom calls me her son. That's my brother. We have a Bible study together. Like, that's my guy. Like, I can depend on him. He's pretty much blood to me. I remember one day after school, like while we were in middle school, he told me, just like, it was because people rarely ever used to see my dad back throughout all my high school career. Our relationship really began to blossom post high school. Whenever it comes to real close connectivity and a close relationship. But, he was still pretty present as a father. He showed up to a few basketball games here and there, major performances and all that. But while I was in middle school, I remember he came into school one day, and then my dad came through. I think it was like the career day or something like that. Dad came in, he walked in, did his whole presentation, whatever, walked off. I remember after school, Jordan told me, just like, RJ, yo, dad got a successful walk. I'm just like, just like, he just got a walk where it's just like, I just closed $1,000 deal. I was just like, what are you talking about, bro? He's just like, oh, you don't see it? I'm just like, I don't see it, bro. He's just like, bro, your dad got that walk, bro. And then a few years later now, like, what was it? This was post high. Was it? This was I think it was close near either the end of high school or post high school. I remember one day I was walking around. I've gotten several compliments now to this day. Man, young man, you carry yourself very, very well, very elegantly. You know, you really have a presence when you walk into a room. And then the cherry on top of it, Jordan told me, he's like, man, RJ, remember that walk I told you your dad had? I think I see you got it now, bro. It's just like, come on, man. Come on, bro. I was really hyped about that. But that was just in one instance, really like how I carry myself. And then to a second instance, in obviously the gift of gab and talking, I believe that my influence, having my father show me, through his career and through children's ministry and through traveling the world and everything like that, and it literally just being done by his words, it completely opened up my eyes to what the world can look like. I for the longest time growing up, I thought that I always knew that words were going to be the way that I made my career. It was just always going to be, it was just a given for me. I knew that I wasn't going to be a mathematician or whatever. I knew that I wasn't going to go to the medical field. And I didn't find out until later in life that talking isn't something that everybody just automatically defaults towards a career. Like, whenever people would talk about, what are you going to be doing, like, post-high school, post-college, everything like that, I just knew I was going to be saying something. I was like, I'm going to be going to somebody, talking about something. I was just like, because, that's what I'm good at. And I didn't find out until later that most people, they have to either work very, very, very hard and very consistently to get to that point and obtain that skill set, or they gather from the people that they're surrounded with. And I learned later on in life that whether it be from going to the conferences and seeing my dad talk in front of hundreds and thousands of kids, whatever like that, or it goes to him going up in front of the stage and preaching, or him going and doing like life coaching calls, like all these different ways that he had shown me that his words were the way that he made his way and the way that he provided for his family, which for a man is his livelihood. Really, when a man provides structure for his family, that's the encapsulation of a man, really. Mm-hmm. So like, in me saying that was how he did it, that it was through his words, through his charisma, through his character, everything like that, it showed me that that's possible. And for a lot of people, thank God that thank the Lord that God surrounded me with people who believe in my own story, believe in my own aspirations. But I've told people before, just like, oh yeah, I want to go into news broadcast, I want to be an actor, I want to be a motivational speaker or a pastor. Like, you should probably have a backup plan because, you should get something more solid. I'm just like, this is solid for me, man. Like, God blessed me with a great gift here. I've grown up seeing my father do it. And I truly do believe that this is something that I can do. And not only do I believe it, but I believe that I am destined for it. And that's something that I believe was most definitely passed down from my father. And I know it was done intentionally, but I don't know if it was I don't know if whenever he acted for it to be proactive and him trying to teach it to me was the most important moments, or whenever, was it for most kids, or like the whole broad statement is kids don't listen to what you do, they watch what you do. I definitely believe it was more so just me watching him. Because, I mean, as I was saying earlier, my dad told me plenty of lessons whenever I was 8 years old, 7 years old, 9 years old, that just went in one ear and out the other. But I picked up a ton of stuff from just watching him.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'm definitely a people watcher too. So, but yeah. My dad played a absolutely major role in was it not only how I envisioned myself career wise and my own personal skill set, but just who I am and my character as a person. And what was it? It was, I mean, obviously it's 50% the chemical makeup. Shout out my mom, because I mean, obviously she has the gift of gab as well. But it was just overall a holistically beneficial melting pot to create a great talker, which, as you can imagine, made a few annoying conversations as a parent, I can imagine. But
No, I enjoy talking to you. You're a great conversationalist, and so we have our download times, in the evening after your day, and I mean, the wisdom that comes from you. I'm just like, you really actually thought of that, and you've had that all your life, like it was just always been a thinker. You've always been a thinker, and your bedtime stories were Success magazine. So, your daddy.
Okay. I'm not mad at that.
Success books, like
you know that.
Put in them what you want to get out of them.
So your daddy would be
That subconsciously explains so much.
Yeah. That's your daddy, but that's he poured into his kid what he wanted to get out. So praise the Lord. Miss Shay, tell us how your identity was developed by having a good father.
I think that you can watch, like RJ was saying, what's done and what's not done, how you're spoken to, and all those things. I think that who I am today, it has a lot to do with my father, the way I carry myself. My dad even taught us how to walk from your heel to your ball. I mean, how to sit like a lady. Close your legs when you're sitting down with the skirt on. Or he showed us how I don't think there's anything that Clarence Turner did not know to do with his children. And how he knew it is beyond me. Because it's like I said, his father wasn't present.
Wow.
He took care of his mom. His mom couldn't read or anything. She was illiterate, but a cook could cook, and she cooked for people. She catered and made a lot of money doing it. But my dad would take care of all the money or whatever, from the time he was 8 years old. So I think that I carry myself the way I do, and I thank my father for it. I see my mom as a very elegant and regal woman, but it was something like about making dad proud of you. So you wanted him to see that the things that he was telling you or that he's taught you, you want to show him that you got it.
Wow.
I have to say with this, when the father is not present, even in a family that's the children are all grown, something about it that breaks.
Wow.
That hasn't been the same. The gatherings and all the closeness is not like it was. I mean, we talk, but it's not a physical thing. So I think that my dad impacted all our lives, and we are the people that we are today based on the things that he taught us, even how to eat. We hold the fork and do the knife. And I mean, mom did a lot, but dad was like, not like that.
Wow.
No, do this like this. Nope, this goes like this.
Wow.
And he encouraged us to be more, not just settle for for just mediocre, because I saw my parents leave New Orleans as young people. You know, my mom came here by herself with my brother Ed, and then we followed. We came after she was here for a minute. They just wanted to get out of Louisiana where we were to somewhere better. You know, and so my mom always had those aspirations of being better. I want to be better. I want to do better. And my dad had it too. I went to college with my dad. You know, we graduated from college together. That was like, whoa, that's big to me.
Yes, it is.
You know, so he, like you say, growing children you need growing parents. You know, and so as my dad bettered himself, he was at General Motors for over 38 years. And then after that, American Airlines, just because my mom wanted to fly around. So he was there, and it was whatever Sylvia wanted, whatever was necessary for my children, for us to do. That's what Clarence Turner did. Wow. So I think that who I am today, I like excellence, and not that I am excellent. I'm always striving, but my dad always did beyond. My dad could print like you type on a typewriter. His print looked like that. My dad wanted bigger checkerboard, so my dad would make a checkerboard out of plywood and color it. No measuring, and everything was like perfect. You've never seen anything like it. He was a god.
Dad was amazing.
He was.
Yes.
He was.
Yes, indeed.
I miss my dad.
Yes. Indeed, he was amazing. And to have known him or experienced just that time that I had with him was, amazing. And to see the dynamic of mom and dad's relationship, my Wendy Pooh, I call her my Wendy Pooh. She's the reason why I even know, the Turner family. And I'm ever grateful for that and that introduction. And she, was like, oh Lord, whatever they taught her, the way she patterns her life now is a true reflection of Mom and Dad Turner. And I just look at that, and I am truly, and I admire her and Scott and their relationship. And so I gleaned a lot from it, and when I was able to come along to glean from Dad. And I remember one time he was writing a letter about the van and stuff. And I put some special font in it, and he told me, look, they're going to think I'm playing. If you put that font in there, you need to go back to the drawing board, ma'am. I'm not playing. So I said, okay, Dad, I'll fix it. So, I'm just grateful to have experienced the relationship of watching their marriage and watching what I saw of both of them. So we're going to get ready to close out our show. Let me tell you something. You guys have blessed me beyond measure. The both of you, RJ, Shay, my sister. I'm so happy to have had you on, to have had you share with me your knowing that Father knows best, And I talk about my Uncle Richard and how he covered our home and still covers the home. He just recently lost my aunt. And they were, much like Mom and Dad Turner, they were friends. And that is the beauty of a beautiful marriage. They woke up in the morning, all you hear in the morning is them talking, and I'm like, golly, gee, I want that. It's a beautiful thing to be able to have that, And, I'm grateful for the experience I had even in my marriage, some things I learned along the way. But I'm grateful to have had the experiences. And then I have an Uncle Ken, who are just my parents, just to the core, So I just want both of you guys to just share some closing thoughts. RJ, will let you go. Just share some closing thoughts, some parting wisdom with our audience about Father knowing this.
Well, I have to say this, right? However, in the instance that, because I want to speak broadly, because I know that not everybody has been blessed to have an amazing father. You know, that's something that I've also had to learn in life. However, I am also a very, very firm believer of the fact that God's always going to send you someone. Well, as I say, growing up as an only child, like I've had, like my friend, like my brother Jordan, just had an epiphany to realize like a major, major like characteristic flaw that I've had within myself. He was like, "Dude, I just realized that that's like the reason why you struggle with that is because you've been an only child. Like like what was it? The reason why because I'll can make consistent mistakes within our friendship, and then I'll be like, I came out and I was like, oh yeah, here I apologize about this. Like I've kept on messing up in this area. It's just like, dude, I don't know why I'm just not having this realization, but you didn't have anybody else to experiment with this with.
Wow.
It was really just you. Like, what was it? Like, you're figuring out all this stuff, like, at 19, 20, after we've all, like, truly, truly connected. So, I just say that to say, not everybody's gifted with, not everybody's blessed to have a great father biologically given in their life. However, God does send you someone. As I've just said, I just had the conversation with my brother, non-biologically, but I'm really considering biologically, Jordan. Whenever God does send you that person, listen to their dear words. Like growing up throughout my childhood, although my father was present, he did his best that he could, but our relationship was not the best. So God sent me my Uncle Ken. Literally, he's the one who taught me how to fix up cars, how to change oil, how to make sure I get my tie on right, how to talk to girls and treat girls correctly, and how to deal with emotional baggage as a man, all this other different stuff. And then I had and then even in instances like that, because Uncle Ken, he's a jack of all trades kind of guy. He was if the car window to his car ain't rolling down, he's pulling it into the driveway, pulling up a YouTube video, and figuring out how to fix that car window. You better call somebody. If it comes down to it, he might call somebody, but it's going to be a friend. It ain't going to be him taking it over to the BMW dealership because he knows he's about to get done dirty. So he will figure it out. He will figure it out. So I had that instance, right? But then also God sent me a spiritual acknowledgement father, and having my brother Jordan's father teach me the significance of what a father can look like spiritually. Teach me what structure can look like in a household spiritually. So although I may not have been given that immediately as a kid, biologically, God sent me somebody for me to learn that lesson. So I just say all that to keep your ears open and keep your eyes open as well, because God is going to send you wisdom. And the chapter in the season that you're in your life, you're there for a reason. Whether it's tumultuous, get out. Whether it seems like Satan is throwing hell in a handbasket over to you right now, you are in that season for a reason. After you come out that season, you will be one of the wisest people on your block for your age. You'll be one of the wisest people on your block for your color, for your denomination, for whatever it is.
Yes.
God will have built a soldier within you if you stay diligent to what he has for you. So it's just all pretty much to just wrap up and conclude on the fact that God has you in this specific season that you're in for a reason. And God has you surrounded with the right people, with the people that you're surrounded with for a reason. Some of those people are a little bit farther than they should be. Go out and reach out to them. You know who the good people in your life are. You need to go and reach out to them. Get closer to them. As young men and as young women, as people in general, we all should have mentors. So I believe that each of us were given those mentors, and we need to go out and reach out to them and listen to them and truly take in what they have to give to us. Because if we do, we can avoid a lot of these tumultuous periods. And even if we don't avoid them, we can make them way better.
Wow.
I'm speaking that from experience. And this is just a 20-year-old talking about relationships. I'm not even talking about children or taxes or trying to figure out how to pay for my apartment. I'm just talking about relationships. And had I listened to the people that God sent in my life relationship-wise, I would have avoided all of it. Yeah. And that's just one little part, one little snippet from a 20-year-old's life. Now imagine if we take that same concept and that same idea and apply it to a broader span and something more serious and more in-depth. So, God has somebody for you. Please listen to them. Please listen to them. Reach out to them. Talk to them. Learn. And just keep your ears open, because there's so much wisdom, so much amazing knowledge to be shared with you.
Yes. Thank you. Let me tell you something. I bow down to my own kid. I just say,
wow.
That's 20 years. That's 20 years. That's 20-year-old speaking. And I say, I listen, and I'm grateful for the wisdom you've shared. Sis, what you got for us in parting words?
I just want to say to Ricardo, man, let me tell you what. You're your father, sweetie. But I just heard just right there. Wait till you have a few more years under your belt. You
Yeah.
are Ricardo Miller's son.
Yeah.
That's amazing. The father, you see, look, his dad impacted his life to the degree that he's him now.
Wow.
You know, the same thing. I know Ricardo speaks and preaches and teaches and all that. Listen, did you hear your son? I don't know that I have anything to say, but praise God, man. And Father knows best. Father God.
Amen.
Amen.
Father knows best. Our Father knows what's best for us. He knew that we were going to need a Savior. He knew that we were going to need friends and family and people, and He supplies it all. He's done it all. God is so amazing. And I have to say, Aisha, I am so thankful that we got a chance to do this, and I want to do it again at some other times. You know, whenever you want me, you call me. I'm there. But I'm grateful because I was able to reflect some today because it's Father's Day. But just even in talking about my dad, my father, it's like it's going to be a nice, peaceful, beautiful evening because I'm going to spend some time just reflecting on my dad. You know, on the time that I haven't had because he's no longer here. Devastated our family, totally devastated the family. We have not been the same. But God is faithful, and He's faithful.
Yes, indeed.
And I thank Him for that. I haven't had anyone to speak into my life. I'm trying to think who that would be even on a father. I don't think I want nobody to. Because I'm like, I got a daddy. Might not be here, but I had a daddy. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
No, so, but yeah, Ricardo, if your dad hears this, he's going to be so proud. He sounds like his dad. I know he's doing the computer stuff too, like mommy and all those things. And he's talking like mama because mama's good too. But I hear and I see your dad.
Yeah. That's true.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That hit very deeply.
It's beautiful. It is. I'm like so proud of him, Aisha.
Yeah. I'm incredibly proud of him and grateful that to even be able to parent this kid. You know, that's the honor. That is truly the honor. And in much like Mom, although our family life or marriage or what have you did not make it, I learned from Mom, let the man be the man. Let the man be the man. Let the man parent the child, and don't speak negatively. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I faltered in that area. But let me tell you something. The times when I didn't falter much outweigh the times when I said, okay, whatever your daddy said, that's what it's going to be. Now, sometimes I didn't have the best attitude. But at the end of the day, it's what your daddy said. And I know that I learned that from Mama T. I learned that from saying, okay, what did Dad say? That's all I saw. What did Dad say? Dad was the runner of the house, and that is the thing that I believe that is critically important in our lives today. Yes. And so, I'm just thankful for both of you guys for having us. And as a side note, I was able to talk to Mom about what you and I talked about today, and so
okay.
I'm so excited.
You're gonna do it, right? You're gonna do it. It's about to be on.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. So we're gonna get that all together, and just share and pour, and the older women ought to.
We need to. We need it.
Yes. So. Again, thank you guys. Thank you, RJ, for sharing from your wealth of wisdom. As a 20-year-old, I'm honored to have you. And Shay, let me tell you something. I'm grateful. So,
we gotta be grateful for.
Yes. Again, this is the Aisha I Am Woman show where needed conversations happen. I am your host, Aisha. And I am so delighted and, again, excited that you chose to join me this evening on this Sunday, Father's Day. And we'll be back same time, same place, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here on Megasource